I've been in Acadia National Park for the last few weeks, but it's starting to get boring. I've done almost every major hike, eaten at all of the big restaurants, and it's finally time to head back to Pennsylvania to finish building my camper van. Last night, I slept at the Walmart in Ellisworth, Maine, and it was crowded with other vans, RVs, and truck campers. It was super cool to be a part of the tiny community for a night, but it's finally time to move on. However, it would be a shame to just drive all the way through Maine and not make a few stops. So my goal for today is to spend no money besides gas and to get through all of Maine in one day. But I seriously need to mix it up from what I've been doing the last few weeks, so I found the top 6 weirdest places in Maine that include no hiking, no overcrowding by tourists, no expensive entry fees, and are things you can't find anywhere else in the entire United States. And that's how I ended up making the perfect one-day free Maine road trip. I started from Ellisworth, Maine, which is right outside of Acadia National Park, and luckily our first stop is only 14 minutes away in Hancock, Maine, because I was supposed to be there at 4:09 a.m. for the peak of low tide, but could not drag myself out of my way too comfortable bed. Luckily though, low tide lasts about 2 hours before and after peak times, and it's currently almost 5:30 a.m. as I pull in, so once I parked at this little alcove, I rushed to our first stop of the day with hopes that I still had time to find at least one of the brightly colored starfish that makes this place so iconic and unique. And I already know what you're thinking. I said no hiking or basic visits, but there are no hikes here, and even beyond all the starfish, this place is known for its rare reversing falls, where the river current flows in reverse because of the significant tidal changes. Twice a day, the river current changes directions and flows both with and against the incoming tide thanks to gravity. I read on one of their info boards that 2 hours after high tide, strong tidal currents from the open ocean reach a pinch point and rush in over the shallow rocky bottom, creating the waterfall effect. After the bay fills, outgoing tidal waters rush back through this spot, causing rapids in the reverse directions. You can even see seals, eagles, otters, minks, blue heron, crabs, mussels, sea anemones,
Okay, don't hurt yourself.
and waterfowl here. I didn't personally see any seal, but I think that's because they're only out this far during high tide when they're trying to come get fish for food.
Fish are friends, not food.
I always feel bad stepping in the ocean since it's almost many people's homes, but nope, no starfish. So I did some research before coming on what was the best way to find starfish, and a lot of people seem to say it would just be super easy the closer you are to low tide, but if not, the next best solution is to look near rocks or to turn over rocks. But honestly, I just kind of felt wrong disturbing creatures in their homes. Also, these wooden beams were giving me serious Pirates of the Caribbean vibes, which I was loving. Okay, really cool thing about the Insta360, it's semi-waterproof. Up to 10 meters. You're gonna test that out for me. How'd that go? Okay, I think I see a starfish. So basically, I end up figuring out I am in the complete wrong spot. I saw a few rocks in this area and came over here, but I should have been in the section with the big rocks. And also, yeah, this would have been much easier if I got here at peak low tide, but waking up at 3:30 a.m. just wasn't in my system today. So I apologize, but here's a photo by someone who did get here at peak low tide that I think is so crazy. Beautiful. Can you see it through the water? Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm so excited. I was starting to think it was fake. My first starfish. All right, I'm sending you in again. Are you ready to see a starfish? I'm very happy. I think that one's dead. I can't tell. It's still alive.
Do you think it needs help, or do you think it's just chilling? Or is that its breakfast?
Despite all of the photos on the reviews, you're not supposed to pick up the starfish, which I actually did not know at this point until I read the website while making this video. But personally, I didn't do it just because it felt invasive to like come into their home and pick them up and then mess with them. However, I did pet the top of one of them one time, and it was surprisingly very spiky. It looks subtly spiky, but I did not expect those tiny spikes to be so effective. Also, one day I would love to come back and bring a canoe or kayak to explore further out because the water was just so beautiful and clear as far out as I could see.
Another purple one!
In the 1950s, they used to have a lobster pound and a seafood takeout restaurant here. But now they just have picnic benches, but I would love to make my own breakfast and come down here early in the morning, just while no one's still around, and just enjoy how stunning this place is. So real quick, I want to tell you a few fun facts about starfish. So clearly, starfish aren't actually fish. They're echinoderms, part of a group that includes sea urchins and sea cucumbers. They have no blood or brain. Instead, they use a water vascular system to move and eat. To eat, they push their stomach out of their body to digest their prey externally. And starfish can also regrow lost limbs, and some can even regenerate an entire new body from just a single severed arm. They also have hundreds of tiny suction-cupped tube feet on the underside of their arms, which getting to watch them move today has been so incredible. There's so many of them, and they're so intricate and tiny. And the final fun fact is that at the tip of each arm, they have a small eye spot that can sense changes in light.
I thought it would kill me. I thought it would kill me to fall again. But I hit the ground running. So I didn't feel a single thing. My mind was occupied. Man, I was on a high. I could run forever to get a minute, just a minute of your time. If this is what it's like, I could get used to late nights dancing my place. I could get used to long drives, cab rides, your place. I could get used to be fighting just for the hell of it, and you putting up with it, 'cause you love me to bits. Late nights dancing our place. I could get used to this. I thought it would scare me. I thought it would scare me to let you in, but I was paper thin. You saw right through me and I gave in. My mind was occupied, man, I was on a high. I could run forever to get a minute, just a minute of your time. If this is what it's like, I could get used to late nights dancing my place. I could get used to long drives, cab rides, your place.
Well, that's embarrassing. I have like a whole itinerary for today, but I don't think anything's gonna top this. Like genuinely. Like I can't think of anything I visited in the past year that's topped this and how I feel being here right now. I think sometimes just waking up really early and taking a walk along any body of water is magical, but I've always wanted to see a starfish.
So stop 1, Tidal Basin Falls starfish, I would give 5 out of 5 stars. And our next stop is 44 minutes north in Washington County, Maine. But the next stop is something I've had on my bucket list and have wanted to visit for so long, but it is a little bit of a drive up from Acadia. Oh my God, I can see it! Oh my God, it's a giant blueberry! It's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous, and I love that. And I love that. Wild blueberry. Could I be more excited? This is so ridiculous. There's just little blueberries everywhere.
This is so precious. Everything is blue. It's just so fun.
Welcome to Wild Blueberry Land. What is this place, you ask? Well, it's the kind of place that there just really isn't a word for, which is why it's the perfect place to visit on my weird Maine road trip. However, I have a feeling it isn't the weirdest place around here because what on earth is happening in the building next door? It looks like a nightmare factory, like spooky porcelain masks and some weird, creepy, huge doll with a strange body shape and respirator mask.
Oh my gosh, they even have a field of giant blueberries. It's just so silly. Wild Blueberry Land, engineered by nature. Alright, maybe this was some kind of blueberry machine at some time. Oh, it spins. And I also just need to know what this is, because I feel like it's repurposed. I feel like they didn't make these just to be blueberries. But it works. I never thought I'd have the chance to frolic in a field of giant blueberries, but here I am. This one looks newer. I feel like these were never used. Maybe they're just that old. Alright, now all it needs is a giant blueberry roller coaster and I'll be completely set. Alright, I think I have to do it. I have to sit in the blueberry throne. Yeah, that's... Alright. Wild blueberry walkway. This is so weird. I love that. It reminds me of the Universal logo. This looks like it used to be a pie swing. Is that a thing? I feel like this was definitely all a mini golf course at one point. I love that.
I love abandoned, messy, weird places, and this place is just making me so excited. Do you know what's so strange though? It's only 10 a.m. and I already feel like I've had so many more hours in the day today than normal. Sometimes I feel like I wake up, open my computer, and before I can blink it's 5 p.m. and I've just been working all day and the time just vanished. And then so do my days and my weeks and my years. I think we all know this feeling, but of course we also know the time doesn't actually really vanish, and today's 10 a.m. is equal to every other day. But this is actually called the novelty effect, and it's because our brains are really good at compressing things we do in repetition. When our brain says, "I've seen this before," it files the day away as routine. That way it can take up little space in our memory. Most of our lives we spend in the subconscious and in predictable routines, living our same realities, helping our ego survive through routine. We consistently are feeling and thinking and doing the same things over and over on autopilot, pretty much stuck in our one reality. But doing something new and out of character or odd or strange or bizarre quite literally wakes our brains up. If you've ever seen the movie Everything Everywhere All at Once, this is actually how they quantum jump. They do crazy, absurd, bizarre, out of the ordinary things, and it like wakes them up so they can be thrust into the multiverse of new realities and possibilities. In the movie, she learns that novelty forces her to pay more attention to her life, and she gains real perspective. The trick to literally gaining more time in your life and feeling like you're living longer is to do the unexpected. Say yes in situations where you always say no. Take a different route home, talk to a stranger, wear a ridiculous outfit to work, walk backwards, listen to classic Mozart instead of screaming rock music. And these don't have to be big things to make you jolt your brain into being more alive. Like if you grab your coffee mug from the right side of the cabinet, reach from the left. If you always brush your teeth with the right hand, try your left. These small, tiny changes force your brain to work and just stay more engaged. So that is my challenge for you this week. Try one thing that can help you quantum jump in real life.
Morning has broken, my windows are open. Wanna feel the wind blow through my hair. Which way do I follow? What happens tomorrow? I turn to you and hope you can guide the way. Sometimes I give up, just wanna be on my own. Even in the darkest times, you give me hope. So I lean on you when I'm lost my way. I keep holding on for a better day. I lean on you when the world's astray. I left my heart open so you hear my prayer. I left my heart open so you hear my prayer.
So we officially finished stop 2 at Wild Blueberry Land, and I'm going to give it 4 out of 5 stars. It's fun, but something I don't feel the need to ever come back to. And our next stop is right here on the side of the road because I forgot I had a work call scheduled for this afternoon. People see themselves in it better. Thank you, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks. Oh my gosh, I forgot I had a work call. I yeeted over to the side of the road. And now I don't, well, we're definitely not gonna have time. All right, lesson of the day, don't get too distracted having fun and forget that you have work. Oh my gosh, I still have an hour to drive. We're gonna get back on the road right now. Nope, that was a great sound. So our actual next stop is an hour and a half away in Bangor, Maine. Bangor. I don't know, I get a lot of flack in the comments for not knowing how to pronounce every city and town I visit correctly. I hope you like scary stuff because this next stop is gonna be a little bit spooky. We're currently on our way to Bangor, Maine, which is home to a very iconic piece of history. And I'm not gonna tell you what it is, but it is a movie reference and I wanna see if you can guess it. I see it. Now there's 2 of them, so how do I know which one it is? Oh, it's definitely that one. That one looks creepy. This is the exact sewer grate that inspired Stephen King when writing the iconic book It. However, it's not the one that was featured in the 1990 film. There are full Stephen King tours here in Bangor, Maine. Bangor, Maine. Bangor, Maine? Because this is where Stephen King lived most of his life. You can join one of those tours, or you can do what I did and make your own, which helps keep me in line with my goal to make today a totally free road trip besides gas. And according to the tours, King was walking by this corner during a rainstorm, and he saw the water flowing down the street and into the sewer really fast, and that's when the inspiration strikes for him that this is where Pennywise would live. Also, fun fact, his wife's name is Penny. I'm just gonna leave that fact there, because I don't really know what to make of that. But besides the sewer, there are so many spots you can visit for free around here that are inspirations for Stephen King's books. 11 minutes from here is Mount Hope Cemetery, where the original Pet Sematary was filmed in 1989. 1989! Okay, I'm sorry. Also, Stephen King has said he gets a lot of his characters' names from graves in that cemetery. And it's also the second oldest cemetery in America, with the oldest grave dating back to 1777.
Oh, we're here already. Oh yeah, no, I would see that and definitely think about kids drowning. Like, I'd be like, people are gonna die there.
This is the Thomas Hill standpipe that was the inspiration for the haunted water tower in the book It. And it's also shortly featured in the movie, both in this scene and when one of the kids makes a diorama of the water tower. The standpipe was constructed in 1897, and it's 50 feet high, and the tower opens 4 times a year to allow people to see from the promenade deck.
Oh hey, look, a trash can, that's helpful. Let me just van life real quick.
There's also a park bench nearby in Memorial Park. That's where Stephen King is said to have written most of the book It. Something I was thinking a lot about while touring these spots was how a lot of his inspiration are just from everyday basic things. They weren't like big epiphany moments in his life. He didn't fly to another country and like eat, pray, love, or see a miracle. He was just walking around and observing and thinking about life and being creative and just using his imagination. And then connecting those experiences together. Like his first big novel, Carrie, was inspired by his time working as a high school janitor. 2 real-life girls from his childhood, who one was bullied for their clothes and the other from a very religious family. And then the final piece of his puzzle was reading a Life magazine article that blamed poltergeist activity on the fact there was a teenage girl residing in the house. The article said if telekinesis existed, it was most likely in teenage girls around their first menstruation, which is how he came up with the idea of the novel Carrie.
This whole town gives me the heebie-jeebies. I don't like it.
And those were all just tiny coincidental things he experienced or saw that he turned into a story that ended up shaping the horror thriller genre for years. Sometimes when looking for inspiration, clearly we don't need to watch 100 YouTube videos or travel the world, but just look around where we are and let the little things move us and connect and inspire us.
So the final stop on our Stephen King tour is his house, which I know sounds creepy, okay? I know it sounds creepy. But technically, it's now the Foundation's house. And he doesn't live there anymore. He lives in Florida. And that's all. We're gonna see it, see the spider on the thing, and then we leave, because we're not creeps. Oh, that's so cool. There's like spiders and there's...
So this was a spot I wasn't really sure about because lots of people do visit it. It's a stop on all of the Stephen King tours, but it used to be his house, so I just felt a little like a stalker showing up. However, just in the few minutes I was here during mid-afternoon, there was 4 other cars that stopped and took photos too. So it's definitely a popular tourist spot, which is probably part of why he doesn't live here anymore. And his gate does say 47, which is his address, but it's also the year he was born, as his birthday is September 21st, 1947. Which coincidentally, that happens to be the day I'm posting this video, so happy birthday, Stephen King. And also, September 21st is my boyfriend and I's 1-year anniversary, so happy anniversary, David, I love you. And I wish I could cue the Earth, Wind, and Fire song September, but you know, copyright laws, so just imagine it playing. But just to go back for a moment to the story of Carrie, I also think it's equally inspiring how he almost trashed the whole story. He had originally written 3 pages of a first draft, hated it, and threw it away, but then his wife happened to find them and wanted to know what happened next. And so King kept writing. He almost trashed the novel Carrie, and then even after that, it was rejected 30 times from publishers. But look at where it is now. Sometimes we just have to have faith and believe in our own ideas, because sometimes we just can't even see how far they might go. Also, like this video and leave a comment if you think I should come back here and stealth camp and just do a full tour video of everything Stephen King and like stay up all night watching horror movies, because now that is definitely on my bucket list of awesome things to do. That was actually not our only stop here in Bangor, Maine. Our next one is only 3 minutes away, but it's pretty big. How do I get there? Oh, it took me back to the same spot. But in conclusion, stop 3, the Stephen King tour, I would give a 3 out of 5 stars. Well, please appreciate the fact that it took me like 10 minutes to admit this. I have never seen or read it, or honestly most other horror movies. I loved Carrie, but it honestly wasn't that scary. A lot of these things I've had on my bucket list and I've thought about going and seeing for years, and to cross them all off in like one day is pretty crazy. But if you're doing a road trip through Maine and you're going from the top down to the bottom, this is definitely a really great road trip list. If you like weird things. I love weird things. I love rundown things. I love strange things. And I feel like today we're completely mixing it up with every single thing that we're doing. This has been one of the best days I've had traveling in a while, and I'm loving it so much. So stop 4 on our weird Maine road trip is to visit the 31-foot tall Paul Bunyan statue here in one of the lumber capitals of the United States. Oh! It's like an average size man. Oh, I need gas. This is perfect. Okay, be honest with me. From all the way over here, is it just me, or does it look like his middle finger is up? Just me? Cool, got it. So the reason this statue is here is to commemorate the city's 19th century legacy as the lumber capital of the world. And it was a key piece of the Banger's 125th anniversary back in 1959. And it even includes a time capsule that's to be opened on their 250th anniversary in 2084. God, just saying 2084 sounds crazy. This statue is made of fiberglass over a steel frame, and if you're unfamiliar, the story of Paul Bunyan is a tall tale, pun unintended. Like, there's one stating that him and his ox Babe dug the Great Lakes to get Babe a place to drink out of. Another says that they created the Mississippi River by dragging Paul's axe through the land. Essentially, he's a mythical hero and symbol of strength and adventure and companionship. But all I could think of was how lucky it didn't come alive and try to kill me. As yes, that has happened before, as this can also be a stop you can make on your Stephen King tour. Because a recreation of the statue came to life and attacked Richie in the book and in the movie It Chapter 2. So stop 4, the Paul Bunyan statue, I would give, like a 2 out of 5. The statue is nice, but it's just a statue. It's cute if you want to drive by if you have the time, but nothing to drive extra or out of the way for. However, stop 5 may just be a little worse. And we are going to be visiting the International Cryptozoology Museum. Cryptozoology, according to Google, is the search for and study of animals whose existence or survival is disputed or unsubstantiated, such as the Loch Ness Monster and the Yeti. However, before I even was able to get in, there was a few problems with this place. It has a $10 admission fee, which breaks our rules. And second, they close in like 15 minutes. But then I learned of the complete total deal breaker. So update, you can't take videos in there or photos. It said only panoramic photos. And they said very few. Like, is someone gonna follow me around and count how many I take? So I guess that won't really work. The Cryptozoology Museum, we'll say, is like 3 stars, I'm gonna guess. Well, unfortunately, but luckily I have a whole list of other spots I could go. I could go to the Wedding Cake House. That's free to just go and visit. I could go to Battery Steel. I've always wanted to go to Battery Steel. I just don't know that it's safe to go alone. I could go see Lenny the Chocolate Goose. That would be interesting. Or the Eartha Globe. That's pretty cool. I think it's like the world's biggest globe. That's cool. I have 2 last resort options besides those things. So we shall see if they're gonna work out. So our last stop of the day is called the Desert of Maine, located in Freeport, 22 minutes north from where we were. I know we're going backwards at the end of the day when I'm so close, but I needed something to end this video, and it was this or seeing the dang boot again. However, the boot would have been free, but just not as interesting or unique as this place. But usually if you were to come here, it costs a ridiculous $21 for an adult and $17 for youth and students. Let me tell you what this isn't, okay? It is not worth $21. Especially if you're a solo adult, okay? I can't speak for the experience if you're with a kid, but I don't know, I just find it funny that I recommended pretty much everything on this list, but then the 2 things that cost money are duds. So honestly, just revisit that list of free spots, okay? Trust me. However, one of my favorite things here though was a sign that said, "Live according to your own time." A quote attributed to Charlie Coffin, also known as the Hermit of Maine. I think that's so beautiful and just a good reminder of how made up our world is, but also how ethereal it can be to just slow down, take your time, and enjoy life.
I wonder if that little face is part of the scavenger hunt they have. It's pretty cool. I mean, it's expensive, you know, when you could just go to the beach. You're at Acadia and there's beaches everywhere. And it's not 20 bucks, but I don't know. I think this is one of the most tourist traps I've ever done. It is pretty cool. I haven't ever been on a beach that's like just forest. I can't rate this one pretty high though. It feels overpriced for a bunch of sand. I will say having it all to myself in like silence is pretty cool though. That's pretty amazing. There's a campground here, and I don't know, I think I would consider doing the campground. There's a fossil dig over there.
So why is there a desert randomly in the middle of a forest in Maine? Well, first off, it's not technically a real desert. It's much too rainy here, but there are plenty of sand dunes, and the sand isn't sand, but glacial silt. It started at the last ice age when the glaciers receded and then left behind a deep layer of glacial marine silt. The land the desert of Maine now occupies was once actually a fertile farm owned by the Tuttle family back in the late 1700s, and they would use the land to raise crops and sheep. But unfortunately, the Tuttles' farming practices, especially their overgrazing by sheep, led to the formation of the desert. The sheep consumed the vegetation which held the topsoil in place, and this exposed the underlying glacial silt, which was a very fine material that easily eroded. And once a small patch of this silt was exposed, the wind and rain began to erode it further, causing it to spread. This process, known as desertification, transformed the farmland into what we now call the Desert of Maine.
All right, I found the slide. Oh, no longer in the sand. Oh, that is a very kid-sized slide. All right, do I put my hands up? I don't think I can. There's a tree there. Okay. All right, here we go. Oh, we're going. I don't think I've been on a slide since I was like 10 years old. I feel a little silly, but it's a good feeling. All right, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you had fun. I definitely had one of the best days I've had in so long. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe, click like, do all those things, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.